What's up guys, this is Carson and I'm here with my good buddy Gleb. Today we're going to talk to you guys about writing classes. Now, I want everyone to close their eyes, close your eyes, and imagine, it's the AP Comp Sci exam, alright? You've been studying all week long for this one test. You turn to the first page and it asks you to write a class on cars. And you have no idea how to write a class on cars. Now, I'm going to help you with this one. So first off, you're thinking to yourself, where do I begin? Now, when you really think about it, there's only two main parts to a class. Its header and its body. Now, the header has a couple of components into it. The class name, if it's a child class of a parent class, and if it implements any interfaces. So first off, let's talk about the class name. In this case, we're writing a class about cars. So we're going to name this class Cars. When you're writing a class name, you want to make sure that the first letter is uppercase, and if it has two words or more, then the beginning letter of every word is uppercase. After that, you write extends the parent class, if it is a child class of a parent class. So in this case, as we know, this class Cars extends automobiles, as it is a child class of the class automobiles. And lastly, it implements the interface movement. Now we implement the interface movement because this car moves. As you know, cars do move, and the interface movement would help with this a lot. So after the class header, it is the class body. So this consists of everything that doesn't include the header. So from this point downwards is a body. First, you have your field variables. These variables can be of any data type and can be public, private, static, final, or any combination of those four. In this case, we have a private integer age, and this means that for every object of the class Cars, it has its own integer age that cannot be shared throughout any other object. Now, after your field variables, we have the constructors. Come a little closer so you can take a look. Each constructor has its own header, just like how the class has its own header. So in this case, the constructor's name is car, and it takes the parameter string. So, as you know, we are a child class because we extend to the parent class automobiles. That means whenever we have a constructor, we need to call the method super. This super is basically calling this constructor of our parent class, and it's taking in the parameter s, which is a string. So that's where we use this string. And also within our constructor, we set the integer value of age. So with just the parameter of string, our age is 0. Now, we have a second constructor. Now you might be wondering, why do we have a second constructor? This is so that we can store some extra valuable information. So here we have the parameters of string and an integer. So now we call the super method again. This must be the first thing you call, or else you'll have an error. And then here we also use the integer a to set our age to that number. So the last part to the three-part trilogy of the class we call the body is its methods. Now the methods have their own header, just like how constructors and classes have their own headers. You see here, this is the return type of the header, and this is the name of the header. Now, in this case, we have public static string get name. The use of this method is to return the name of this car. So it returns the super.getName, since we personally do not own the name variable, but our superclass automobiles does. So we call super.getName, and that'll return the name of the car, and it will return that to output the name of our car. Also, in this case, we have public int get age. So this is going to return an int, so we return the age of our car. Here we have public void add year. So since we're not actually returning any variable values, we're using the return type void, which means there's no return. And here we're just adding a year to our age, so age plus plus. Now here we have two methods, both by the name mover. And we can do this because this one has no parameters, but this one does. So they're both under the same name, but since this one has a parameter, they're allowed. We're overloading our method names. So before we get into our review questions, we're going to do a quick recap. Now, come a little closer. I want you to be able to read this. So we're going to start off with our header again. Make sure you have the class name. Make sure you follow your capitalization rules. The first letter of every word should be capitalized. Next, in the header, we have the extends part. If you are going to be a child class of a parent, you need to make sure you write extends in the parent's name. Now, you can only, I want to clarify, you can only extend to one parent class. On the other hand, we have interfaces. You must write implements and then the interface name. Here, you can implement as many interfaces as you want. So you can take the qualities of a bunch of different interfaces. Next, we have our field variables. Remember, you can make them private, public, static, final, or any of those. And make sure you can use any data type of your choosing, and that's field variables. Next are your constructors. You need to make your header correct. You must write public, the class name, and then any parameters. Here you want to set your field variables, and you want to just use make sure you use the super constructor if you are a child class. After that, we have our methods. Once again, make sure you have your method names right, your method headers, and if you have a return type, make sure you write the return statement. If not, you can just do, like in this one, H++. That's basically a quick recap over everything that we just learned.
Review question number 1. Field variables are written in the...
We good?
Review question number 2. How many parent classes can you extend to? Review question number 3. How many constructors can you have? Review question number 4. Field variables can be... Review question number 5. Which are correctly written class headers? And now, here are 3 open-ended review questions.
Guys, but all jokes aside, let's be honest here. We all just really want to do well in the AP Comp Sci exam, so let's make sure we get the basics down on how to write a class. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask me or Gleb. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions on classes, abstract classes, or writing interfaces. It's no big deal. And remember, guys, we love Miss Hauser. Hey!